I am of the mind that childhood is what really makes a person. Those early years shape character and build the person that's going to emerge in adulthood. John Milton wrote, "Childhood shows the man, as morning shows the day." And some of my most formative experiences happened when I was just a young child. Like, I used to go to Montana every summer with my family, and I had this cousin, Ellen, who was a year younger than me, so I was kind of a bad influence on her, being the older one, and I was always trying to get her to misbehave with me. So, on one of our visits, we decided to watch the Madeline movie together. You know, Madeline, the red-haired French orphan girl who lived with the nun. They used to have the whole TV series and the books and stuff. And the computer games, I loved that. I had the European Adventure game. Yeah, I bet I have that still. Yes! Madeline's European Adventure? Best game ever. I know my favorite part was when you got to go to Turkey and you got to recover the lost stolen treasure from the Sultan. Although I also did really like the part where you got to go to Switzerland and do the little game with the music boxes, because there was this Swiss dude who made them and you had to help him, and I know he was really creepy because he had these like suspenders. Oh, it was such a good game. Although I always had to wonder why Miss Clavel, she's the nun who Madeline lives with, I had to wonder why she would let this 9-year-old just go off traversing the continent by herself. But I always thought it was really cool because she was a really independent kid and stuff, and I wanted to do that too. So in this particular movie that we watched, Madeline and her little Spanish boyfriend, Pepito, they decided to run off and join the circus together, and Ellen and I just thought that was the coolest thing. The only problem was that there were no circuses in Montana, and I didn't have a Spanish boyfriend. But that was okay, because we had a better plan. 2 days later, our family went to the rodeo, which was great because it was a lot better than the circus anyway. At the rodeo, they have this game called bull poker. Not bull poker, like B-O-W-L poker. No, that's what I thought it was when I first heard about it, and there's no bulls in it, so I thought it was really weird. But then I found out it was bull poker, like the animal, which makes sense. Because, well, the way it's set up is they make this circle in the middle of the rodeo ring out of flour, and then they put a folding table in the middle of it and a bunch of folding chairs, and they set it up there, and then they have 6 guys come down from the audience and sit down at this table and play poker. And see, the interesting part is that they let a bull into the ring, and the bull attacks them while they're playing poker, and whoever is the last guy left in the ring playing poker wins. So it's a pretty cool game, right? Yeah. Anyway, I had this great idea that I should run away like Madeline, only I would run away to the rodeo instead of the circus. So I told Ellen about this plan, and she totally agreed that it would be great. So we asked our parents for money so that we could go buy snacks, and then we went off to the concession stand. We bought a whole bunch of food. We got Twinkies, Pixie Sticks, Doritos, Oreos. See, those were going to be our rations for our trip, because we didn't know when we were going to get food again. We weren't familiar with the rodeo or how they fed people. We had to stock up. We wandered away from the seating area, all the way to the stall area where they keep the cows and horses and stuff. And then we kept going till we got to the parking lot where they had the vans, and we were trying to find one that we could stow away in, because that's what Madeline and Pepito do. I think I was actually more Pepito in this scenario, come to think of it, because he's the bad influence on Madeline, and that's kind of what I was for Ellen. So I guess that makes me her little Spanish boyfriend or something. Weird. Anyway, we started randomly climbing into the backs of different pickup trucks we came across. Eventually we found this one that was really official looking. It was big and white and had this special logo on it, so we figured it would have something to do with the rodeo and be able to take us where we needed to go. We got in the bed of the truck and hid under these random boxes for like 15 minutes. Eventually the guy who owned the truck came back to pack up and leave, and he did this hilarious double take when he realized there were 2 kids sitting in the back of his truck putting boxes on their heads, pretending that nobody could see them. The guy kind of gives us a weird look, and then he says, "What are y'all misses doing back there?" And we didn't know what to say for a second, so he asks, "Can I help you with something?" Finally, I sit up and ask, "Can you give us jobs in the rodeo?" And he just looks at me like I'm crazy. So Ellen chimes in with, "We can feed the horses." The The guy tried to explain to us that he didn't work for the rodeo, because apparently he actually had nothing to do with it, despite his really misleadingly official-looking truck. We really wanted to work for the rodeo, though, so we weren't about to give up easily. We just kept sitting there in his truck, and he didn't know what to do with us, because he didn't want to just push us out or anything. So finally, he says,
You know, the rodeo isn't really hiring right now, but I could give you some, fireworks.
Apparently, this guy's idea of a consolation prize was explosives. So after he gives us a bunch of fireworks, we run back to see our parents. It's been like half an hour since they last saw us, so understandably they're a bit freaked out. Ellen and I come running in like,
We were in the back of this man's truck and he gave us fireworks!
So naturally our parents all kind of flipped out when they heard about this because it sounds like some kind of kidnapping scenario. So we kind of had to explain to them why we were getting in this guy's truck in the first place to calm him down. And we didn't really want to do that because that also involved telling them that we were trying to run away, which we could have gotten in trouble for. So we didn't really want to do that, but mostly they were just super confused as to how we were planning on running away with the rodeo. Because as it turns out, the rodeo isn't a building, like a fixed structure. It doesn't go anywhere. But, I mean, come on, I was a 6-year-old with lofty aspirations of becoming a French orphan. I wasn't really thinking the little details through. That's what's wrong with kids these days. They just don't think things through. Well, naturally, my parents did not let me go back to the rodeo ever again in case I tried to run away once more. But I did keep one souvenir from that adventure. Fireworks. That's one thing that's definitely lasted with me since childhood.